mental health is something that everyone issues with on a daily. All right,
Okay.
and that's something that we need to discuss and to destroy the stigma.
Yeah.
And some things that affect our mental health include gossiping,
Yeah.
Which we all do.
we have to face it. Some of us gossip, some of us hear gossip about us, about people we know, or like sometimes
Either
get
you take
affected.
part in it,
Yeah, you take
or
part
you
in
are
it.
part of the school. Yeah.
I believe that gossiping, malice, comes from a place of insecurity.
Yeah, I agree.
But another thing that affects mental health is status. Our status, how you feel, how you choose to feel or react to certain things around you, to what's going on around you, what's going on within you. Watching or desiring someone else's status for yourself can also affect your mental health. So you're ungrateful, you're unhappy because you feel like, oh, there's this place I'm supposed to get to, but I'm not there yet. How am I going to get there? And then you keep
It's a
working.
subtle form of jealousy.
Yeah. And gossiping is actually just one part of it. Gossiping is just one part of it. Sometimes what people even say to your face.
Yeah.
Like the last video that he posted, he was saying something about how people would come up to him and be like, oh, you're not going to do this one.
Yeah,
that,
why
that
won't
this
you
one
do
go
this?
out."
Yeah.
So that one too.
And then they expect you to fail so that they can tell you I told you so.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hate those people. Oh my god. But like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's always just about making people feel better. You know, gossiping happens with those who like want to feel better. You know, like if someone is doing better than someone, that's when people start to gossip. Because they want to tear someone down, you know? Like, if they see, like, a happy couple, they're like, oh, but you know, that couple, that woman, you know? She doesn't cook or clean.
So like, they wanted to pull people down.
So like she said, it's like a form of insecurity.
Yeah.
You just feel insecure about your status, and then you want to bring yourself up by bringing the other person down.
You need to be focused, even you as you on the receiving end, to protect your own mental health. You need to be focused on what you want to do, what you as a person want to do, not looking outside and trying to be like somebody else or trying to please somebody else. When you try to do that, that's when you start making a mistake.
In my experience, when I, like, experience people gossiping or talking shit, how my mom likes to say it, you know? It's mostly they hear one information from one side and they don't respect the other side just because they have this notion or this, you know, like, this view on this one person. So, in one circumstance, I'm not calling names, don't at me, alright? But, like, I had, like, girls who liked me in the past. And because of things that happened, it ended and they started saying rumors of what happened. First, it could be something simple like we went into a bathroom and we talked. Simple, nice, boring. But no, it had to be bring this girl in the bathroom and you were attempting something sexual. Like, yo, do you even know me? I don't think I could even do that, you know? Like, I'm so small and I'm such an idiot, I wouldn't be able to do that, you know? Like, people who know me know that I'm a sweet guy and I will never do something irresponsible or disgusting like that.
Yeah.
But the fact is that people believed it.
And the
It's a juicy story, of course.
It's a juicy
I know,
story.
right?
It's a juicy story. It's a juicy
juicy.
story. Like, fuck, alright.
Interests you, alright, but like, you know, it's just like, bruh, that's so fucking...
Unfortunately, people don't really care about the facts.
They don't care when it's juicy.
Yeah, as long as it's juicy.
When it's juicy, people want to believe it. You know, people want to believe down there.
And we always, a part of us always longs for something outside of our reality. If you get what I
We
mean.
need
That's
the
why we watch
surge.
movies. That's why we listen to even music, and we are listening out for the lyrics. What story is he trying to tell? We are trying to pick out what somebody doesn't say. Sometimes we even turn simple words.
Yeah, sometimes.
Into something else we want to believe.
Literal words. We just
we
assume is deep, and then we bring out a meaning out of something just normal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people gossip about insecurity or what they don't understand. You know, like for the longest time, people have gossiped about like people and like questioning their intelligence, their sexuality, or some other factor. You know, if a guy dresses too good, they're like, oh, he's gay. All right. Or if a guy does something crazy, you know, like parties with his friends, they're like, oh, he's an idiot. It's like, yo, you don't know anything. You don't know who they actually are. Maybe that person was a PhD student. Maybe that girl has like 3 girls waiting at home. All right. Like the facts are clear sometimes, but
sometimes they're not.
Yeah, and the
then
thing
which
is,
make people believe whatever they want to believe and assume that's the fact.
That's so true. Now, addressing the whole talk of gossip and then the receiver, I mean, I've heard stories about a million, even the examples Tahmid was giving, I've heard stories about a million people and how they could be considered to be idiots or stupid or something. And my mistake was not checking the facts. So I just believed. Not necessarily letting it affect my relationship with them, but then I just believed it and probably just stayed away, kept off or kept my distance. But in reality, coming to know those people, I'm like, no, this thing was a lie. Why did I believe it? Like, and then you hinder yourself from making friends and connections that would have, helped you.
I think that's also like put an emphasis on the fact that we need to know that we ourselves are not perfect. So this whole thing about being toxic to other people, we might actually be toxic to someone.
Yeah.
We might not know it, we might be doing it unconsciously, but we are also toxic to someone. So when someone else is trying to say, I'm cutting away toxic people, it might be you who think you're perfect.
I know, right?
So but then what I tell myself is, if I know I wouldn't be happy if someone does this to me, then I shouldn't do it to someone. So in a way, like constantly working to make yourself better so you don't be the nuisance to someone's life.
no, you're right, because like we are the main character in our own story, you know, and the thing is that when people don't know the whole story, they start creating a narrative, you know. If they see you doing one thing only, they're going to characterize you with this one thing, you know. So, and I think social media has a big part in that, because in social media, sometimes when you don't see people often, they kind of put your life depending on what you put out in social media. So like, for guys in particular, I don't know about you, but I'm lazy with social media, you know? Like, I think when I was younger, I used to post a lot on Snapchat, Insta, Facebook, but nowadays, considering I'm like old, 25, I'm like, I can't like be bothered.
Let's not completely insult or destroy social media, because social media can be a source of good as well.
I mean, memes are good.
Not just memes, but I mean, oftentimes you go there personally. Oftentimes I go there for entertainment, because I want to like, oh, see what this one is wearing. Oh, this one looks nice. Oh, that's funny, or something. But it's not necessary. Thing is that, just for instance, like Clubhouse. Let me just give you an instance. When you go into Clubhouse, there are so many rooms. Like, you can very easily just go into a room that doesn't necessarily help. Do you understand? But that doesn't strike out the fact that there are also rooms that you can learn a lot and you can gain a lot from.
So that's like everything that has an advantage has a disadvantage.
Of course.
Yeah, you just need to be focused, know what you want, get it, don't be distracted, and go.
Now, obviously, I know that social media is great. I use Instagram probably every single morning, okay? But the thing is that even though I enjoy seeing what my friends are doing and what the world is doing, especially news, Instagram is news, basically. The thing is that if you don't post, people start making opinions about you, okay?
Opinions?
Yeah, because people need to...
They need something to keep them busy.
Yeah.
But like there's a million other people who want to follow their lives.
Actually, that's why I feel that's the reason why I don't care what people think. Because If you do something, they have opinions.
If you don't
If you
do
don't do
it,
anything, they have opinions. So pick the side you want to be. Pick what you want to do,
Yeah.
so that they can still have their opinions.
Yeah.
Because you just what you should focus on is making yourself happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like also like if you don't post, people assume a certain narrative. And the thing is that you could be so happy with your life, maybe the most happy you've ever been. But people will still think that like, oh, he's just a little sad boy. He's not posting, he's not doing anything.
okay.
It's
Are you
like
happy?
sitting inside.
You know the
Yeah.
I don't think you need validation from anyone.
But
Exactly.
As
social
long as
media
you're happy.
is validation.
Yes,
No, it's
social
not.
media looks like
No,
it's validation.
it is
It's an
validation.
appearance of validation, but it is not validation.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
Okay,
Think about
I don't deny that it can destroy your life.
Some
Sometimes,
people
and
post
it makes
just
your
because they're
life.
sad.
Yeah. Okay. They post because they're sad, so they're trying to be happy, right?
Right.
Good. So what they do makes them happy.
Happy.
That's what is important.
That's what.
Yeah, but then they post so that they can get validated, so they can be happy. Therefore, they equate the photo to happy.
You shouldn't be happy because of other people's validation. I think you should be happy because
You shouldn't, but this is reality.
not everyone is like that. As long as I'm doing this thing and I'm happy, what you think doesn't matter.
I care what my mom thinks with me.
Yeah, you know,
I need her validation.
factors. You know, so many factors. There are so many things that affect your well-being, your happiness. Yeah, that you care about what your parents or your family think of you. Doesn't mean that you necessarily depend on their validation. You understand? I have friends I explain myself to, but it still doesn't mean that I depend on them for validation. Care about what your parents think, but then if you don't like someone and your parents would want the person, you will still not get married to the person. So you kind of listen to them, you accumulate their advice, and then you put it together and then figure out what your decision will be.
No one person is an island of himself. We all need each other to live and survive. So another thing that comes to mind is moderation is key. Knowing what you want, and of course, making sure that those around you know that okay, this is what you want, this is who you are. So whenever those people you love try to talk to you about certain things, of course, you both can have a conversation. That doesn't even come into mental health. You both can have a conversation and then talk about what you're doing. I don't think they're going to hate you if you do the contrary. Do you get?
Yeah.
But on the flip side, when you're talking to somebody that doesn't care about you, they actually want you to do the wrong thing, like you said, so that they can say, I told you so.
True. You know, there's some shitty ass people who really like when you do something normal, something fine, they're like, But then when you do one thing wrong, they're like, oh,
It kills every good thing you've done.
yeah. It's just like, yo, what the hell? And like those people give me the most anxiety. Okay.
You know the funny thing about people? Right now, you see
Those
that thing that you
people
have
I
done.
hate.
You see that thing that you have done that everyone is shouting at.
Like with those
A
people.
lot of people are doing that same
Same
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
And these are the group of people who will sit down and actually castigate you for doing that thing you did.
Probably because they
Think
feel
about
like
it.
You know, with those people, especially,
Because you're so anxious about something wrong, you end up just becoming boring. You can't be yourself because you're so paranoid about what they think of you. So that's why some people with like maybe certain people or even their parents, they're just this different person where they're just like normal and they're just like a robot.
Yeah,
You know?
true.
Like yeah.
that's so true.
But like the thing is that it's annoying.
Yeah, I used to say this thing. Everything you need is on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
The day you sit down and
I
say,
don't
today,
care.
I don't care what you're going to do. What's going to happen should happen now. From that day, you're not going to be scared of anyone. What you want to do, you do it with your chest. And you own it.
Yeah. That reminds me of somebody that I consider her like my favorite princess of the Bible, Esther. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Disney.
I know, right? I know, right? She's supposed to be a Disney princess, but in this case, she's in the Bible, so Bible princess. Esther, Queen Esther. When she was about to go and visit the king, and then she told everybody to fast, and then she was like, "Well, if I die, I die."
Yeah.
That quote is on one side of my Bible, if I die,
In
I
Nigeria,
die. Like,
we
if I
translate
die,
it as we die here. Whatever happens, let
We
it
die
happen
here,
here.
let it happen
The truth is, people don't have the power to beat you. They can't. The only thing they can do is mess with your head, because they can't physically attack you for taking your own decisions or for making your opinion. I mean, everyone has the choice of making their own opinion, but why is it that someone else's opinion is what you choose to dwell on when you have your own things to figure out, you have your own shit to figure out? But people like to dwell on other people's stuff. So yeah, I think that honestly, this whole thing, there is no formula to handle it, but I just feel that you just do what makes you happy as long as it is right. Just doing what makes you happy alone is not enough, because what makes you happy might be wrong.
No, what makes you happy shouldn't be the wrong thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, as long as it's right.
I think right is objective.
yeah.
Like you
An
know,
arm robber stealing makes him happy.
huh?
An arm robber stealing makes him happy.
Feeling makes him happy.
Yeah. Because he's
Wow.
going to get the money and everything he's going to rob. So
Okay, that makes him happy.
that makes him happy. But it's
Because
not
now
right.
you're telling me it's not right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As long as it's right. See, there are people who know that they are toxic to something, but they are not ready to stop. So you know you're toxic to something, and you're ready to change for it. Then that makes sense, because you know if it is done to you, you wouldn't like it.
Okay.
I think it's important that we find validation in ourselves.
Yeah.
Validation in ourselves.
Yeah.
That's important.
Of course, have moral standards, have good moral standards, and let your validation be drawn from everything you do, your moral standards, your person. Now you ask yourself, is it worth it? Should I do it? Do you get?
A lot of things need to be considered,
Yes, there's a lot of things.
just not other people.
Yes.
Okay, just like final statement. Gossiping, as you said, is a form of insecurity. People gossip because they want to find validations in another person's suffering. And we continue this cycle because people become happy and over time they become sad and do it all over again. Ridiculing people that they don't like or that they low-key are jealous of. And I think what we're trying to say is we don't care about gossiping because we're not personally affected by it, which is great. And I believe you, and I think that gossiping doesn't affect me. But the thing is that as humans, we're not perfect. And I think that because of that, if we see gossip, that affects like some important part of us. You know, sometimes if they insult something that doesn't really matter or something that kind of matters but not really, we will let slide. But when it's something that really hurts or something we're actually insecure about, that would actually hurt us.
True.
You know, and that's when gossiping hurts your mental state. You
Yeah.
know, and I think that's the good point because gossiping is a form of bullying, and that's something that's happened since from high school, and it's lowered down as we got older, but. You know, sometimes my mom talks to me and talks about how she faces gossiping, which is wild. You know, old ass woman gossiping about old ass woman. Like, I love you, mom, but and I love all like those aunties and everyone, but that's ridiculous. You know?
I mean, get a life.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just think that now that we're trying to break the stigma against gossiping and mental health, maybe we'll kind of realize our faults and stop the cycle.